Okay, I think it's go time. So, all right. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's session. Today, phoenixNAP and Zerto are going to present Zerto's new continuous data protection features and talk a little bit more about how MSPs and VARs benefit from these new features and functionalities, and of course the partnership that phoenixNAP shares with Zerto as a premium disaster recovery as a service solution. I'd like to introduce today's presenter, Ben Taylor, who's the cloud architect with Zerto. Ben?
Thank you. Yeah, my name's Ben Taylor. I've been working at Zerto for about a year, and I came from another large CSP, SunGuard, where I worked for about 10 years. Pretty happy with our partnership here with phoenixNAP, and I look forward to this presentation here.
Awesome. Thank you, Ben, for joining. Looking forward to the presentation. And Andrew, cloud account executive with Zerto.
Yeah, and just to echo what Ben said, thanks very much, everybody, for joining today. I'm Andrew Olmark. I'm the cloud account executive for Zerto. I've been with Zerto for about 9 months now, but I've been in the industry a very long time, and I look forward to the presentation and also the relationship that we have with phoenixNAP. Appreciate everybody's time today, too. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. And I'm Joel Wilhelm. I'm the Director of Channel Sales here at phoenixNAP. For the partners who have joined today, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. This is going to be a very good presentation on Zerto. We're really looking forward to delivering this for you. Also, today's presentation is recorded, so it's going to be available in the future. So if some of your teammates have not been able to attend and you feel it's worth taking a look at, we're going to go ahead and send out the links and additional information here after the webinar. So I'm going to roll right into this with a quick overview of phoenixNAP. Many of you are already familiar with us. As you know, we were founded in 2009. phoenixNAP, really our history predates 2009, going back to 2003 as a secured server offering and a hosting company under different names. And when we consolidated under phoenixNAP and launched our Phoenix data center, basically phoenixNAP became a premier hosting facility in Phoenix, Arizona in 2009. We have grown to over 500 employees worldwide and into 15 data centers worldwide. We are headquartered in Phoenix, Arizona, and we have a channel focus. So today's focus today is on our partners, how we can benefit you through the service offerings we have and our partnerships with top providers in the industry. Next slide, please.
One sec. There we go.
We talk a little bit about our locations. It's regional delivery of service with local access. So when we talk about cloud, not every one of these nodes is fully lit for cloud services. So we'll talk about the ones that are most meaningful very quickly here. Phoenix, Arizona, obviously. Atlanta, Georgia. Ashburn, Virginia. Amsterdam and Singapore are fully lit. We have a VMware vCloud verified cloud platform, and on that platform, you are able to leverage Zerto for disaster recovery as a service through vCloud Director integration. And we'll get into the mechanics of that in a little bit. So those are the meaningful locations. So if you have customers in North America, we have East and West regions, perfect for disaster recovery. Of course, Phoenix, Arizona sits in a very low risk for natural disaster zone. Very low seismic activity, natural disasters are rare, and of course we have low cost of power, great climate, all those wonderful things. So it is a top destination here in the Southwest for disaster recovery as a service, backup services, hybrid deployments, things along those lines. Next slide, please. And our partnership with Zerto, obviously a Cadillac product. We feel that Zerto has the extra touch, right, when it comes to doing the best job for our customers that need low RTO, low RPO SLAs, ensuring recoverability, using unique software and tools to do so, and of course the ability to test and do some of those things that everybody really ought to be doing once they deploy disaster recovery as a service. We have years of delivery service with Zerto. I think we got started about 3 years ago with the practice. So it's a top solution out there in the enterprise space, the mid-market, and even smaller customers can take advantage of all the wonderful things that we're going to hear about today. Next slide, please. Companies that trust us, I think it's always good to put some recognizable brands up there. So, you can take a look at a wide range of industries and verticals that we work with for backup, disaster recovery, and other services. Many of you are familiar with many of these brands. Next slide, please. And I just want to make sure that you understand all of the services that we offer. So clearly we offer co-location, and off of those co-location, those tier 3 data centers, fully redundant N+1 concurrently maintainable data centers, we launch into dedicated servers and infrastructure as a service for customers. This is where maybe physical bare metal hardware is required for the workloads or application stacks. This does come into play in disaster recovery when it gets a little bit more complex, where they have physical clusters or services that we cannot replicate through a virtual tool. Cloud services, of course, the VMware private clouds, single tenant clouds, multi-tenant clouds, secured clouds with our PCI compliant data security cloud. Security services, we've leveraged many of the top manufacturers, vendors in the space to help build a much more secure platform for customers to host with, including AlertLogic, Sophos, Intel, VMware with their own security tools. And of course, all of the providers that can do network security, things on top of that, and partners who provide managed security services. And of course, completing the circle there, we move into, of course, cloud storage, backup as a service, disaster recovery as a service, leveraging all of those platforms to deliver a turnkey solution for our customers. We make it easy. We'll move into the next slide here, and I think I'm going to hand it over to you.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks for that, Joel. It's an amazing setup you've got there at phoenixNAP and great partners. For all of our other friends on the call who just joined, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm the cloud architect, and Drew Omart is my account executive. So we'll start there. I'm just going to go through about 10 or 15 slides very fast, and then show you a demo of the product of what phoenixNAP uses for your backup, for your DR solution. So Zerto was established, as you can see, in 2009. It's based out of Israel with a Boston headquarters. Our first product shipped in 2011, so the company's about 9 years old, very mature, and has over 800 employees now. One of the keys is that we've got 350 plus cloud service providers. You can see phoenixNAP there. That's basically everybody who's anyone. And also we have 3,500 customers globally. We've started to build our channel out as well. We've now got 1,200 channel partners. So this is a great way of leveraging a software through a channel and reselling it. So what is Zerto, guys? Basically, we started out as a DR and a continuous DR and backup product. That was way back in the day, but we're looking now at becoming the full resilience platform. And so we also offer workload mobility. We offer you the ability to migrate into clouds, around different clouds, and also on premises. And this is the premier product to do moves and migrations. And then in Zerto 7.0, we're up to Zerto 7.5. In 7.0, we started offering multi-cloud and hybrid cloud access. We've got a thing called a Zerto Cloud Appliance, where we can get you into Azure and out of Azure, into AWS and out, IBM Cloud. And so that cloud agility is now giving nobody an excuse for having downtime anymore. So you've got the full resiliency platform. This slide here I absolutely love. We're all talking about digital transformation. The whole idea of digital transformation is in order to have high availability at lower costs and be more global in your reach. So I love this comment here that digital transformation is the ability to protect, absorb, and recover and adapt in a complex and rapidly changing environment, enable it to deliver its objectives. And I love this last line, to rebound and prosper. What we're seeing is companies getting hit by ransomware, they're getting hit by cyber attacks, and you've got to be able to rebound from that and prosper. And this is what Zerto offers. Okay, so our partner ecosystem, this is probably reasonably hard to read, but all of the key players in the MSP, CSP environment are using Zerto, all of these companies. So iLand, Microsoft, IBM, SunGard, they're all heavy Zerto users. Now, I absolutely love this slide, guys. This is the top causes of your business downtime. A lot of people think we have to prepare for a hurricane or a flood or a winter storm, but it's actually power failure. It's things that operational failures you cannot stop, no matter how much you prepare. IT hardware failure, network failure, and of course we've got human error over here. And so with these, Zerto can roll you back to within 5 seconds of one of these outages. And so this gives you the preparation for something that is going to happen. So how did Zerto revolutionize business continuity and DR? Storage, replication used to be on the storage layer. We used to have 2 NetApp storage or 2 EMC storage, both of them tier 1 storage, very expensive. Used to take snapshots, which would stun your VMs, and that was there was no real orchestration bringing those VMs up. So we figured that replication was in the wrong layer and moved it up to the hypervisor level. And so we now have what we call VRAs, which is these little vSphere symbols, and the VRAs now replicate at the block level. So we're able to move VMs from one side to the other without actually touching the VMs. The data is actually moving off of the actual hypervisor. So how would you use Zerto? Well, just like phoenixNAP does, you can go from your customers on-prem into phoenixNAP as DR as a service. We can also go back out from on-prem to a customer. We can also use it as a simple migration tool to migrate in and then not do anything, or as an intra-cloud DR. We call that ICDR. And we're seeing more and more private clouds using this method. So I love this slide because it just describes what we do. We have a ZVM, a Zerto Virtual Manager, connected to a vCenter, and we have a VRA, a Virtual Replication Appliance. That's that little agent that's installed on the ESX host, and they are connected by a small pipe. So this installation takes minutes. The replication's at the block level, so there's no snapshots and no agents. So the upgrades that phoenixNAP will be doing for you is non-invasive. And we have continuous data replication. Because the replication's happening at the hypervisor, we insert checkpoints every 5 seconds. So what does continuous data replication look like? Well, it's coming from the VM, and it's being sent to a journal. And that journal is sticking checkpoints in every 5 seconds. And once you've gotten to more than a day of those journals, it gets written to a replica disk, and that's how we can spin you up. So we have several different environments. One's a DRAS, disaster recovery as a service, and that's how phoenixNAP operates. Basically, they'll take your customer's data with a Zerto Cloud Connector, we call it, which isolates and secures you and moves in to the production side of phoenixNAP. We also have this multi-cloud architecture. This is the cloud agility we spoke about, where we can get you into Azure, AWS, or IBM Cloud using our Zerto Cloud Appliance. And so we have that speed and agility to move you between Azure regions now as well, and as well as on-prem and off-prem. So what does it look like? Well, I'm going to show you in a minute, but basically we stick checkpoints in every 5 seconds. So let's say you get hit by ransomware at 5:26. We've got a checkpoint, multiple checkpoints up to a minute later, and we can recover you. So this is great for a site outage. We recover you to the second site. Full application stacks. We can recover a group of SQL servers all at once to that 5 second checkpoint, single VMs, or even files, individual files. And I'll show you this in a little minute. So this is what it looks like, guys. Basically, we have these checkpoints, and they happen every 5 seconds. And so those checkpoints, we can roll you back to seconds before ransomware, seconds before a database corruption, or seconds before an application upgrade. We now, with Zerto 7.5, have what we call an elastic journal. That initial journal can go from 1 hour to 30 days of checkpoints. We can now attach a long-term retention, which is basically NFS or SMB storage, or it's a purpose-built backup appliance, and you can continue those checkpoints forever. So this now gives us the backup and restore capability that gives you that IT resilience platform all in the one. And so we've got intelligent index and search. So that elastic journal we're very proud of. You usually use your journal as production grade storage. You can have a recovery point in seconds, recovery time in minutes. And then the long-term retention can be a cheaper secondary storage, which is doing synthetic full copies. You can recover whole VMs, groups of VMs, files, or folders. And then finally, we absolutely love our reporting. At the end of a recovery test, you can get a report. Often you'll need to report that you are recoverable to, with PCI compliance or to HIPAA or the SEC. And so we'll look at our product roadmap. You know, we've just launched Zerto 7.5 in Q3. That was given us the ability to have secure boot environments called VIO within VMware. And we're moving now into mass cloud adoption. So we're going to be able to add extra clouds. So Google Cloud is going to be supported soon. And we're also going to have Object Store as one of our platforms. And then we move into you know, the future, which we're going to be starting to deal with protecting containers and also using machine learning for our analytics. So I'll hand back over to Joel just before I do my demonstration.
All right, thank you very much, Ben. You know, what we wanted to do, first of all, let's do a quick check. Does anybody have their hand in the air wanting to ask a question right now regarding Zerto, how it works? I'm going to go ahead. Can we unmute the participants real quick? Okay, there we go. All right. Does anyone have any questions for the Zerto team at this moment? No, I think we have a quorum. Okay. So just wanted to give you a quick overlay here of the phoenixNAP channel team, since, you know, this is a channel focused call. You can see the US here. We've broken out into 5 major regions where we have the East, the Midwest, the TOLA region, the Pacific Northwest, and the West region. And these are your partner contacts. If you don't already know Dan, Peter, Eric, myself, you know, feel free to reach out to us at partner@phoenixnap.com. Of course, we do have a partner page on our website where you can reach us. And if you're not currently a partner with us, by all means, you know, we're easy to partner with. We want to enable you, do sales trainings with your sales, your solution architects, so that way you can go to the market and ask customers what they're doing about business continuity, IT resilience, data resilience, and potentially find more deal flow, more revenue for your organization. Again, this is where you can contact us. This content is going to be available later on. Sorry, I guess I got ahead of it.
John, sorry, we have a question from Mark Bell. So he's asking, is the journal compressed?
The journal, yes, basically the data that is moving from the VRA to the VRA from source to target is compressed, and you can also do bandwidth throttling, but the actual journal itself is not compressed. But the journal is very small. It's usually less than 150 megabytes, not even a gigabyte, because it's basically metadata. So that's the reason it's so small and so agile. So I'm going to, at this point, try and share my lab environment. Let me see if this works. Okay, can we see my lab, everybody?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, terrific. So what we've got here is a tiny little lab, just to show you how this is going to work. Basically, what we've got is on the source side, which is 192.168.111.10 vCenter, we've got our 2 ESX hosts and 2 VRAs that are attached to those ESX hosts, 1 ZVM, and a Windows server, and that Windows server is the protected server. Same on the target side, 2 ESX hosts, 2 VRAs, a DR ZVM, and we're going to recover that Windows server over. So let's have a look at the Zerto ZVM GUI dashboard. And guys, this will take about 5 minutes. It's absolutely unbelievable how fast we can recover here. So what we've got here is a dashboard showing I've got 1 virtual protection group with 1 VM in it. It's only got 14 gigabytes, and its recovery point objective is 6 seconds. So if we had multiple groups of servers, we'd see them now. And so this is a VPG, a virtual protection group. And within this virtual protection group, I've got 1 VM, and we can click on that. We'll take a look at it. And we'll see that our journal history is 1.19 days. I've just set that to 1 day, and that's what we've got of 5-second checkpoints. You can also see what our protected VM is. It's just that 1 Windows 2000 server. We've got our recovery host, our storage, where it's going to recover to. And we can actually see that it's going from prod to DR here. So let's do a recovery here. I'm just going to minimize this because it actually happens before I do the recovery, I just want to show you how to restore files out of this journal. It was actually a great question that I got earlier. When I said I could restore a file to within 5 seconds, I just want to prove that to you. So I'm just going to go and restore. We're going to choose our Windows server here. And these are the checkpoints that we talked about. So within the last day, I've got 1,562 checkpoints. So let's say we get hit by ransomware here at 12:21, 22 seconds. We're just going to roll that back 5 seconds to 12:21 and 17 seconds. We mount the volume, and this will take about a minute to mount. And once it's mounted, we can actually dig into that volume and grab that file. So this to us is a bit of a backup killer. There's no need to have Veeam anymore, no need to have any other extra products. So this is what offers you that resiliency platform. So it's we're about 80% mounted here. And what I'll do is I'll slightly minimize that. And we could actually see that mounting happen on the ESX host right here. We're at 80% mounted. And once that's complete, we'll be able to dig in and grab that file. Oops, 1 second. Oops, I keep pressing the wrong button, I'm sorry. There it is, so there's a little folder there. And I'll go next. And we're going to try and dig out this a file from here that we think might be something that has affected us with crypto hacking. And we're going to look for a file called, let's say, boot NXT, which just about every server has. I'll take a second here just to show us that. And here it is. And so let's say boot NXT here. This file is the one that we'd like. We click next, and we can download it. So this is the unbelievably fast backup and restore capability that recovering out of the journal can give us. That journal, that download will happen. There it is right there. So let's open it up. Just running a security scan on it. And there it is. So there's boot NXT from that exact 5-second checkpoint for us. So we actually think that that's a very, very good product for you. So let me just unmount that, and then we'll do a recovery. In fact, before we do the recovery, what I'll do is I'll show you long-term retention. So this has some long-term retention attached to it, where I've got every single day. We've also done a checkpoint as well. And so let me just get to the correct server. There it is. So this will be for the last week, and we're going to look for a file called message. And just about every server, I believe, has a file called message. Let's have a look. And so what this is going to do is actually do intelligent indexing and search from the long-term retention repository. This is not the journal anymore. It's going to look for a file called message, and then it's going to give us where that location is. And then after we find that location, we're going to be able to either restore the file, we're going to restore the entire VM, or we can restore the whole VPG. So this takes just taking a second. My lab environment's quite old now. So we'll just let that come up.
Is the availability of the Zerto backups in any way tied to vCenter?
Yes. And so all of this is very closely tied to vCenter with the ZVM, the Zerto Virtual Manager. And so the Zerto Virtual Manager is grabbing metadata from the vCenter, but the actual data is from the VMs. The vCenter is just giving us the VM names and where it's from. So, that's how it ties in. We get all our reporting off of the vCenter as well. So, oops, that was an unknown error there. Give me 1 second. So what we're going to do is a failover, and I'm actually going to minimize this because it happens so fast. So we're going to fail over the whole VPG, which is just one VM here. Could be 20, could be 30. And again, just like when we were restoring a file, we can recover this server, and we're going to choose a checkpoint. And we'll just wait for this to come up. This checkpoint, in that time that I've taken the checkpoint, another 5-second checkpoint came in. So again, what we could do in a disaster is take the most recent checkpoint, or if we got hit by ransomware at 12, 25, 54 seconds, we can roll you back to 12, 25, 48 seconds. And again, we've got a full day of these checkpoints here, thousands of them. So let's do that. And we're going to click next. And then we're going to start the failover. Now I'm going to minimize this to show you how fast the failover actually happens. Okay, I'm going to click Start Failover. And we're going to say start that failover. So what we're going to see is this Windows server is going to come over to the target side over here in a few seconds. Okay, there it is. So that's how fast the recovery can happen. Let me just minimize this. We've already got the Windows server recovered, and it's going to power on here in a second. And then once that's powered on, we're going to commit this recovery, which will remove the original source server because we know it's got a problem. So we can see this server coming up here as it starts to power on. And that's the agility that we like to talk about here at Zerto, is that we've recovered this to a 5-second increment just before a ransomware attack. And we've also been able to recover it within minutes. It's literally powering on right now. And we've also been able to recover it with a very short recovery point objective. And so it's reconfiguring now. It's putting some disks together and powering on the virtual machine. Now, have we got any questions on that 3-step recovery where I just press 3 buttons? One of the great things is, I will cut in, that we absolutely love about this is great for dev and test. It's great for anybody doing an upgrade. You can actually do the upgrade and recover into a lab environment, and so you can see what you're going to get. And so you can also, with long-term retention, go back to an application stack you had a long time ago and say, actually, I love that application stack. I really love the configuration we had, and you can recover to that. So I'm going to click commit here, which is this little button here. Oh, that's rollback, I'm sorry. Cancel that. We don't want to roll that back. If you don't like the VMs that you've recovered, you can roll them back. But I'm going to click commit. And my demo will be finished in a few minutes once I've agreed to commit this, and that Windows VM will end up being on the target side. So what we're going to see is this server here will power off, then delete, and you'll be running totally on the recovery side. So are there any questions, guys, while we just wait for that final step of my demonstration?
When you're doing long-term retention, is that data stored in your primary data store, or can you specify a lower tier data store to keep that data in?
Yeah, so that's a lower tier data store. So all that is I'll actually show you while we're waiting for this. It's just usually an NFS or SMB share. So as you can see here, my repositories, I've got 3 repositories. And let's have a look at it. Let's just edit that one. This is just an SMB, which is a Windows share. So I've given it a name. It's a network share, a username, password, and as you can see, the path is just a network path, which is like a data store that I've attached. It's very, very simple. So you can also have a purpose-built backup appliance, such as a data domain or a HP Store 1 device, and you're just sharing that out. And that's how simple it is. And those checkpoints just keep going into that. So as you can see here, we've powered off our Windows server on the source side. We're now living over here on the target side, and we've deleted our source side. That's now completely, we're done with that, and we're now protecting over here from target to source. We're going backwards. Any more questions?
Yes, Ben, we have a question from Mark. He's asking, is there still a minimum license purchase of 25 VMs?
I'll have to defer to Drew, but I don't believe there is.
No, there isn't. So you're fine.
So there you go. phoenixNAP can then protect as many VMs as you've got. And
Yeah.
And this is what they use. This is what some of the excellent techies there at phoenixNAP use to do recovery tests to ensure that you're protected and ensure that they've got all the analytics of what's going on. So what I'm going to do is show my main monitor, and I'm actually going to open up Zerto Analytics. Can you see my whole screen there, Drew?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so this is the analytics page. So this here is all of the solution engineers at Zerto's lab environments. And so what we've got, and we'll just show you here, what we've got is 200 sites, 342 virtual protection groups with 78 terabytes protected. And this looks a little messy, but this is all the connections that we've got out to Azure or AWS. But what I wanted to show you here is a planner tool. We can actually see the storage that's being used. So for phoenixNAP, you guys can see if any of your data stores are starting to get full. You can actually monitor those as well. And then we've got a great reporting tool here. So we can actually report on the recovery point objective of every single virtual protection group. So in the selected 18 days, this VPG has an average of recovery point objective of 7 seconds, where the SLA is 15 minutes, which means that for 100% of the time of those 18 days, you've been protected. And we can export that out as a PDF file. So this is a great tool that phoenixNAP uses. And they also use a planning tool here to plan bandwidth. So let's say you're onboarding a new customer. We just select a whole bunch of VMs that have a ZVM attached to them. Let me do that. We'll just attach these 6 servers that we're going to protect. And instantly we can see that we're going to need 101 kilobits of WAN, not very much, a journal of 357 meg, pretty tiny, but the total recovery is of all those 5 disks is 737 gig. So that's for within a week of just basically gathering the data. The phoenixNAP can plan your bandwidth and your journal size and your recovery disk size. We think that's really beneficial to be able to do that very fast. So that's that. That's my demonstration. I'll hand it over to Joel.
All right, Ben, awesome. Thank you so much for that. And I really appreciate the participation there. The questions were great. I think it helps clarify, some of those, gotchas that you're thinking about. Can I use a lower tier of storage for my long-term retention? Absolutely, right? And it's simple, it's easy, it's cost effective. We want to be your partner. Obviously, if you've got customers that are on-prem and they don't want to build another disaster recovery site, that's turnkey from us. Very simple quoting, very simple to engage, very simple to register those opportunities with us. So with that said, I just want to thank everyone for their time. Thank you for attending. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. We'll see you guys in January. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.